at that! Like you've just stepped out of a salon.
You know what I mean? I washed it for the first time in about 3 weeks.
Well, I've heard this new thing that all the crazy cool kids are doing is not washing it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It makes me feel a bit anxious.
Yeah, like Alice Fearn and so on have like decided they're gonna.
Isn't it like 6 weeks or something? Oh no, I couldn't do it. I mean, I basically was halfway there, but I don't know if I could go the whole hog.
Well, it's looking gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have you started yet? Are we starting?
We can start whenever you want, my love.
We'll start now. I don't know whether to look at you or look at the...
Look right down the lens. I know. This is how... Have you been doing a lot of Zoom calls and various things? No.
Oh, no, it's terrible. I mean, I've done the odd one, obviously, but it's just really weird.
Yeah.
Do you not think? It's like... very odd talking to a screen, and also I'm with my parents. I did lockdown when the show closed and I came up to the north, and I'm basically on dial-up internet here, so it's every 4 minutes if I freeze on this, and it's sort of, it's definitely because the internet is not very good, so it's not really worth it.
I love that. But have you been? What else have you been doing? Have you been doing any quizzes? Any banana bread baking?
Done a bit of cooking,
nice.
A bit of experimentation. I made a lamb tagine for the first time the other night.
Fancy.
Done an odd quiz. I'm not very good at quizzes, you see. I don't know enough general knowledge. It's quite bad, isn't it? I could do some maths for you, but quizzes...
Can you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad with
Are you quite the bod?
A little bit. I do enjoy a formula on Excel. It has to be said when I do my tax return. But quizzes is not my thing. It's terrible. I'd rather just have the beer in the pub, and when there's no pub involved,
just have the beer. Beer at home.
I could just have a beer at home in front of the telly. So yeah.
So how has it been back? Because I'm the same. So I'm back at home with my parents and it's been 2 months now. Is it? How long? When did you leave home?
I left home as soon as I went to uni.
Yeah.
And I've never come back for more than 5 days.
Yeah.
And I've been here for what?
2 months.
2 months. Because I sort of came up. I mean, I think most people who've if they've gone back home, because I didn't really want to be in my flat by myself in lockdown, unemployed. So I thought, well, I'll come up and eat. Packed a suitcase like I was going on holiday. Got 2 weeks of clothes, a couple of nice dresses, got the heel. I mean, I've worn the same 2 tops. This is the first time this shirt has come out of the suitcase. It's embarrassing, it's terrible. I didn't think that 2 months later I'd be here, alternating between the same 2 t-shirts and pyjama bottoms for the whole time that I was in Stoke.
I'm exactly the same. And I'm finding it worse because I've been eating and drinking so much, the clothes that I have brought up are beginning to not even fit.
I'm starting to blame my mum doing my laundry for me, saying, these jeans have definitely shrunk. It's nothing to do with all the food I'm eating. And all of the biscuits in the cupboard suddenly disappearing because I'm here. But it's like readjusting to a new routine is very difficult.
Yeah.
And I just like to eat through the day. It helps pass the time, Phil, doesn't it?
Exactly. But have you found anything? Have you discovered any new talents or tried any new hobbies?
I've been doing a lot. You know what? I've been doing a lot of gardening with my mum.
Have you?
So I got my flat. Great idea 3 months before a global pandemic is buy your first ever home with all your life savings. But I got a little garden with it, and I was hoping to do a bit of gardening because my parents have got a beautiful garden that they worked really hard on. So I've been doing all of that, which has been really nice. So I've been growing some tomatoes. We've just potted some peas, so we'll see how they turn out. But yeah, it's quite bad, really. I mean, I spent the first 3 weeks sort of sitting in self-pity.
Right.
And I found it very odd how everyone was being very proactive online because, I was just wallowing in it all. Then found the news very scary and sad.
Okay.
And so I think it's taken me a while to sort of readjust and go, oh no, it's okay, you're okay, yes, it's rubbish, but carry on, there's stuff to do. So yeah, that and drinking, but I could do that pretty well before, so.
But yeah, so go back to that, like, when did it kind of, so you say you kind of, you reacted that way.
Yeah.
What was it that just kind of triggered that then?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. I think it was just absolute fear that everything that all of us in our showbiz lives have worked so hard for had just gone.
Right.
You know, and the uncertainty, even now, of not knowing when necessarily it's going to come back. I mean, obviously we hope it soon. But so much uncertainty with it all. I think my mind just went to kind of just absolute massive rejection and just went, well, you know, there's nothing else I can do. So where does that leave? Like, I have nothing. It's terrible, isn't it? And you kind of, I just went into this, like, heavy kind of set of, well, that's it. I'll just eat and drink. Which, I mean, at the time it was quite sad, but on reflection, it was probably a good idea in some days. But I think it's weird because it was like a borderline, and I think it's the same for a lot of people that I've spoken to now. It was like a borderline sort of mourning process.
Yeah.
You know, we just started, certainly on Come From Away, we just started our contract with our new cast members. We'd only been doing the show for 4 weeks with them. Yeah. And then we'd just gone from this massive kind of lovely media night, doing pictures, rehearsals, more rehearsal, and it just, you know, 6:15 on Monday, you're not doing it today, we don't know when you're doing it again. And it was just madness. But I think a slow process has been for me, rather than jumping straight to attention and figuring something out. Yeah. I'm very slow, Phil. I like to take my time with these things.
But were there other things? Because I had, for example, when a few weeks later when they announced Edinburgh Fringe was going to close, and then we knew that was going to happen, but for me, because you've done the Edinburgh Fringe as well, and I love that. And like I had my summer planned, that's what I was going to do. Yeah. Like, did you have other things planned, like holidays or?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time in my life where I've earned money and I can afford to go on holiday.
Yeah.
And I had 2 booked because, you know, great,
Why
I've
not?
got some cash, why not? And the first one's come and gone, which was meant to be, you know, dream holiday, go to Sri Lanka with one of my best friends. 5th of April, that was well timed, and that all got cancelled. And then I do have a holiday for the summer, but I just don't think I was meant to be going with a big group of us as a family, because my dad's from Sicily in Italy, and we were meant to be going there for the summer. But I mean, it's heartbreaking listening to what's happening over there as well, because their lockdown is so strict,
right,
compared to ours. It's amazing, really. But then you look at places like South Korea that are starting to open up, and it sort of gives a bit of hope on what we do anyway, what we like anyway,
So I wondered where your surname came from. Is that where?
My little Papa Salvo, he's from Sicily.
No.
Little Italian man. Mm-hmm.
Oh, brilliant. But they are
I
talking
didn't get any of the genes, so I don't tan well. I have terrible hair, and I've got all the British genes, basically. Don't tell my mum.
So, you're obviously from the north, and you started your training at LIPA, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm from Stoke, so technically the Midlands, if you ask a real northerner, because they don't think we're northern, but we're near enough, it's fine. We drink tea all the time, it's okay. I went to LIPA first. I did the acting course there for 3 years. And then whilst I was there, I went, well, I like acting, but I prefer musical theatre because I'm better at it.
Did you get much access to singing while you were on the acting course? Was it kind of a sideline?
Yeah, for an acting course, we actually did get a lot of access to it, and I think that's what made me realise that I wanted to work. Not that I didn't want to do anything else, of course. You know, if it'll pay my bills, I'll do it. But the whole musical theatre scene just cried out to me that I just wanted to do more in that field. And then from there was where I looked into going into Royal Academy of Music. So I had a year of lots of double shifts as a waitress and working really hard before I went there to save up a bit of money, basically, because it is not cheap. But with some scholarships as well, it sort of all happened the year after, which was nice.
And how long were you there at RAM?
That was a 1 year. Oh, Royal Academy was a 1 year course, which is amazing. It's so different to LIPA. Like, it was intense and constant, you know. And but oh my god, I loved it. I learned a lot about myself in that year, because I think I was still, you know, figuring out who I was when I was at uni. You know, when you first leave home and you're like, ooh, you know, I'm free, and you've actually got no idea. And then you know, you take a step back and look at the real world and go, oh, actually, this is what adulting actually is, and I need to do my laundry on Sundays. It's like,
I've never learned that. I'm still not doing that.
Terrible. Shame on you. I can spell you from here. But I went to Royal Academy the year after, and it was amazing. And then went from there, really, very, very, very slowly. Started to work.
What was your first professional job? Was that the Newsrevue?
My first professional job, let me think. You know what? Technically it isn't. I did a job at Edinburgh Fringe first.
Right.
It was an interesting show.
Was that Sincerely, Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
David Andrew Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, bless his cotton socks.
I know. Recently worked with Taylor Swift. I mean...
Do you know what I mean? It's like just living the dream over there. But no, we took that to the Edinburgh Fringe. That was my first job after leaving Royal Academy.
So that was Keith Jack.
Yes. Oh my god, you know far too much.
Well, I know, because Jamie Jukes was in it as well. Yeah. Well, I saw it when you came to Greenwich, I think. I didn't come to Edinburgh.
Yes.
But I saw it
in Greenwich for a week, didn't
you were the mother.
Oh my god. I was the mum. I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, I get to play Kenneth Graham's mum. And she dies on page 3. But no, it was amazing. That was definitely a big learning curve, because that was the first time I'd done a little sort of small scale, I guess, tour, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Because we did Edinburgh Fringe, but then we went to a few other venues that Sarah Dawes had sorted for us before then coming to Greenwich. But it was fun. That was a really super cast.
Yeah.
Actually. Some really talented people in a completely unknown show. So that was nice. But yeah, and then I think I worked in a call centre after that. As we all do, obviously.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then you went...
And then Newsrevue was after that, I think.
Who was in your cast? Because, I mean, that's been going 40 years, wasn't it? So you did 1 year? Or... I
did 1 year. God, I can't remember which year it was. It was a summer. I can remember that much, because we had the Edinburgh Fringe team in Edinburgh, and we were in London. I had... Who was in my year? It was Fred Gray, who's been in with some of the Mischief shows.
Yeah.
And Leonie Hill, who I think has also been... She was in one of the Peter Pan Goes Wrong casts as well. And a guy called David England. I don't know if that's his professional name or real name. I can't remember. He's a spy. But we had... I loved that show so much.
I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, it's topical, isn't it? And it's kind of a satirical kind of musical theatre.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a review, if you will, of the current news. So it's all based on... You have writers that chip in their stuff, they email stuff over as well, and we were allowed to write stuff. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And I don't consider myself very funny unless I've had a glass of wine, sort of thing. But that was just an absolute eye-opener to what kind of comedy can be, doing a sketch show based on the news of the week, which was really fun as well, because then we adapted every week.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'd go through newspapers on the way to work and like think of little song lyrics, and it was heartbreak. I'll tell you when it was. It was the year that Robin Williams passed away.
Right.
Because we just did not know what to do.
Yeah.
We spent 3 days going, we can't not acknowledge it. So I think we ended up doing just a really nice short homage rather than a sort of mixtape of sorts, like they do with every politician. I mean, I bet they're having a whale of a time with all the material they're getting, and they can't wait to put it on its feet.
Exactly. I saw it last year in Edinburgh, and it just gets better and better.
Oh, it's so good.
Because it writes itself.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the last couple of years as well, the material they've had is cracking. But it's such a good show. I think it's the longest running comedy show in certainly London, if not the UK. But yeah, so glad to be a very small part of that history.
But was it difficult to be kind of like on your feet and changing it and adapting as you go? Was that kind of part of the fun?
Yeah, massive. I mean, you get a cupboard for a dressing room as well. So that you get close quick, right? But it's so much fun. I think after the first week, it's like walking through fire, and then after that, I enjoyed it so much. And the fact that it's above a pub, it's very helpful. Yeah. And it's a beautiful place as well. It's a really nice venue. So lovely. And to be there in the summer and to be with a really talented group of people. Our director, Ellie, was so lovely as well. She was really sweet and really open and helpful. And I think when you've got good people around you, it just makes the experience tenfold, you know. But yeah, loved it. I'm gutted it's not on this year. That the Fringe is like massive. It's mental.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed. Everything crossed.
So after that, was that when you went to do Greece?
Yes, I then didn't work for about a year and a half. Could you believe it? I just couldn't get anything. So then I went to, after working, where was I? I was juggling like 4 normal people jobs, and the open audition came up for Greece, and I was like, well, sod it.
So this is for Royal Caribbean?
For Royal Caribbean.
The biggest cruise liner in the world. Yeah,
I just rocked up not really knowing what I was doing, and got the job, and I'm pretty sure I said to my agent on the phone at the time, I was like, that's a mistake. No, this is rock, because I got the part of Jan, and the 2 girls that we were in the final scale, I was like, you know, and you can just tell I'm just here for, you know, helping the community. Just to make me feel a bit better. And so went and did that with some amazing people, actually, some super talented people in the cast. Most of it had never done cruise ships before either. It was like very odd.
Yeah, how was that for you? Because it can divide people. Some people can either really take to it, or some people just find it too much.
It was hard.
Right.
Like because it was Harmony of the Seas, which was the biggest cruise ship at the time.
Yeah.
But we were tacking on it whilst it was still in dry dock, so they were still building it when we got there. Now, let me tell you, when someone tells you, do you want to go on the biggest ship in the world whilst they're just finishing off the building, say no, because basically, I mean, if they'd have put me up in a hotel, I'd have been fine. But but there was, you know, we were like woken up, every tannoy was tested every day, so that whoever chose the music needs to be different. I mean, it was constant ABBA, and ABBA is great for about 3 days. Yeah. But, you know, when you've heard Waterloo for the 17th time on day 4, sort of the rocking begins. And the ship was on a constant tilt. So if you put anything down, it just rolled straight off. Like, it was incredible. So, yeah, there were days when you sort of, for a huge ship, you felt like you were in a tin can. Then other days, it was like amazing. You know, you'd wake up and I'd be in the middle of, where did we go? Where did we go in the Caribbean? So, I mean, just anywhere in the Caribbean generally, it's beautiful. I'd never been that part of the world before, and, you know, and they say the beaches are just different. Oh my God, they're amazing. It was gorgeous. And being able to do that as part of my job.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, doing the show was lovely as well, but getting to go to the beach before makes it a little bit nicer. So yeah, that was amazing, and I got to meet some beautiful people. Like, I mean, have you spoken to Nick Hayes?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he was my Kaneki.
Yeah.
So we met on that ship, and there's a few other corkers that we got to work with, and also you're working with people from all over the world, which is just awesome. You know, you don't quite get that over here, but we had like people from New York, people from all over America, from Canada, and then obviously the rest of the crew. I think they had about over 70 nationalities in the crew.
Wow.
So you just meet so many walks of life and so many people. It's really lovely. But then there are some days where that room suddenly feels very, very, very small. And I can only... I mean, the guys that are still stuck on the boats at the moment, I trust...
Yeah.
I hope that they all get back so soon, because I can't imagine what that is like for what we're reaching over 2 months now.
For some of them, it was like prison, because they weren't even allowed out of their cabins.
Yeah.
And especially like some cabins, I think by that point the guests had been taken off the ship, so they were moved into the guest quarters. But still, it's like a prison. You're being brought your food, you're allowed out for exercise for an hour.
And some of those cabins, even the guest ones, some of them don't have windows. And, you know, when you think, oh, I could go for a day without a window, but then when you turn that into 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you kind of go, oh, God, like, that's hard.
Yeah.
And you just hope that they get back home safe and are taken care of, because that's a lot, you know. Because the one thing that makes cruising a joy is that you get to see the world. And, you know, all these people are stuck on boats.
And the reason being is because, they can't dock certain countries wherever they're near to.
By the sound of it, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scary. And I know that, I'm sure that all the, you know, they're being taken care of. But it's like you say, it's one thing being in a cabin on holiday, but it's another being quarantined in a room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I wasn't, thank God, so it was fine. I had a much nicer time.
Did you ever get ill or, like, seasick or anything?
Oh, yeah, we had to do. So we did the first few months in Europe, which was lovely as well. But then we did the transatlantic crossing.
Right.
It was grim. That was hard. Because, you know, the first couple of days you're like, oh, this is okay. And then it's not just so much the rocking side to side, it's when it then becomes all four directions. And you can just see people's faces just going grey. And you're like, oh, this is horrible. And then it happened, I think most of us were seasick at one point or another. It's a very difficult thing to get used to when it's a constant. I mean, even the most hilarious thing was, they were like, oh, find the centre of the ship, because that will be the most... sort of the least affected space, and that was the they had an ice skating rink on the ship. I don't know how it's
standard.
Of course, you know, obviously, what would you put on a rocking piece of equipment? I know, blades on my feet. So, you know, there'd be days where I'd just go and sit in the little auditorium for the ice skating rink just to try and, you know, or step outside and look at the horizon, apparently, because that helps. But you do get used to it. Weirdly, it just goes away one day. I don't know how. It's magic, but it works. So just keep going and drink Corona. Most of this I've talked about drinking. You must cut some of that out.
No, it's all staying in. It's all staying in. It's all good. I'm the same. Like, I obviously used to drink at a lot of parties with, like, the odd press one. But, like, I never used to drink at home.
Free bar, you have to.
Yeah, exactly. Standard. We're Northern. Like, free bar, on it.
I mean, you basically made money.
Exactly. But then, since I've been home, I've, like, at my parents', I'm on, like, a bottle a day of, like, Prosecco or wine or cider or anything. I'm just, like, can't get enough.
It's really, I mean, my parents were laughing at me the other day because I actually got, I'm help feeding the nation now, Phil. I got a part-time night shift at one of the local supermarkets. So I'm picking stuff and I'm doing stuff and I'm helping out where I can, which is really helpful though, because then you can see which bottles go on discount. But when I finish my shift at 8 a.m.
What prompted you to do that? Was just it for your own mind? You kind of wanted to do
things. Yeah. So basically, I got home and my mum was still working, my dad was still working, my brother was still working. It was like it hadn't happened up here.
Yeah.
And I'd just come home as the poor, black sheep that had tried to be really, because I'm the only sort of performing arts person in the family to a degree, and I've spent years of telling them, no, it was a good idea. And then, finally, I got some really nice work and all gone. But then one by one, my brother, who works in construction, his job came to a stop. My mum shut her shop. My dad was furloughed. And you kind of go, oh, and then it suddenly became all four of us have got to be in the house together.
Wow.
No, and don't get me wrong, we all love each other, but one of us will die if we keep here forever. So I just got busy. I printed off some CVs and just went round a few supermarkets, and by chance I got a phone call a couple of days later. And then when I was there, I said, well, do you want my mum to start? Are you busy? Yeah, why not? So we do. Don't get me wrong, working a night shift is horrendous.
Yeah.
Anyone who works shifts, I take my hat off to them, because I honestly don't know how I do it, because I think I'm still asleep whilst I'm there and no one's noticed yet. But yeah, it's just a couple of nights a week, helping out, doing the online orders and that. Because they cannot get the stuff out quick enough. Right. It is quite incredible, even with all the stuff that's been put in place and all the toilet buying calming down. It's still a lot. But there's a lot of people, I suppose, at risk that don't want to go out to do their shop even with that stuff in place. So I'm doing that a little bit because, like you say, just to partly keep my mind at rest and feel like I'm doing something to be a bit helpful.
Yeah. So how does it work with your body clock?
Oh, it's terrible. I try and I get a couple hours kit before if I can, and then I get home usually about 9-10 o'clock in the morning, and just get a few hours after. And but because I only do it part-time, I think I'm sort of just getting away with it. When I first started, I was doing 5 nights, and after the first week I was like, so I cannot do this. They haven't got a clue who I am, and I'm going, I'm terribly sorry. No. So I do it part-time, but it's their work really. Oh, I think that was my mum in the garden. But they work so hard. I'm sure with all the other,
But did you feel safe? How were the working conditions?
You know what? Yes, I do, because I'm working there whilst the shop is shut.
Yeah.
So actually, there's not a huge amount of us there in a large supermarket, and then I clock out when they open the doors. So in a way, and they've got the usual, the anti-vax everywhere. They want to try and keep people 2 meters apart as much as possible. People are trying to as much as possible. So I do feel comfortable, and I'm only doing it because no one in my house is at risk. I mean, if I had anyone in my house that was, I wouldn't dream of it for a second, because it's not about the money. It's about a level of sanity and a level of having a purpose. Having no purpose, I think, was what got me down at the very, very beginning for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because everything that I knew to be important in life had sort of gone or changed. And so being able to do a little something felt good, if that makes sense. Yeah. Plus, I'm washing my hands 45 times an hour. So, I mean, year 2020 is when we all ended up with hands of 78-year-olds. It's awful. If anyone can recommend a hand cream, honestly,
it's so
bad. It's I'm putting Vaseline on my knuckles when I go to bed. I've just never known it. But it's the least I can complain about under the circumstances. I do feel quite safe there, and it's quite chilled out. But there's a lot that they're doing for people. It's amazing. It's hard to think that this might be the normal for a short while, but it is amazing. And I think people are stepping up to the plate. you know, that's not the right saying, is it?
Yeah, no, it is, I think.
Stepping up to the bar, raising the button.
Stepping up to the plate, I think. We'll have to Google it later.
I feel like I've merged two sayings. And, you know,
I think let's just make it a new thing.
I'm gonna step up to the plate. If we find out it's something else, we're just gonna have to like sound it over my.
I mean, you've said it 10 times now.
Said it far too many times, haven't I?
Yeah.
No, I think that's wrong.
Stepping up to the plate. It is. I think it's a plate.
Is it a plate?
Yeah.
Well, if you think it must be. It must be right.
You
then.
raise the bar, but you step up to the plate. No, a plane. Is it a plane? You should know. You've been on one.
No, it can't be on a plane. You can't step on it. Oh.
Step up to the plane. Oh!
I don't know.
You're good with maths, aren't you?
Yes, maths. Sayings, not so much. Acronyms, terrible. Maths, yes.
I know what I wanted to ask you about, because this I only remembered about the other day. A little show called Holy Crap. Do you know why I remembered it? Because I just remember the costume. So this was at the King's Head Theatre, wasn't it?
Did you watch this as well?
Yeah, because I was friends with John Addison.
Oh.
And Nuno, who's in like Hamilton now, and John, who was just in School of Rock. Their costumes, they did not prepare me. Like John was like, "Come and see this show."
No.
So that was you were
That was different.
You were the narrator, weren't you?
I was the narrator / God, which, you know, obvious casting. That was a fun show. I did not read the script before my audition. And Benji, the director, Benji Sperring, he'll tell you this, because I told him after, he was like, "Oh, you didn't." And I just lied my way through it. It was like, yeah, I found it really interesting. So, you know, and how are you going to do this at the end? Because I don't know how you're going to pull that off, to be honest. And just absolute buzzwords, ploughed my way through, got the job, not sure how, and had a wonderful time on the most peculiar show.
It was weird.
I've ever read, been part of, seen, discovered. Yeah, it was different.
So I think Benji just directed Shock Therapy, which was a sequel to. Oh, was it a sequel? Yeah, it was a sequel to that, wasn't it?
Is it a sequel or a prequel? I think it's a sequel. Yeah.
I think it's a sequel. So he'd done that, and it was kind of billed as a kind of similar vein. But it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was like a.
Go on, pitch it. How did you pitch it to people?
As well. Like John Addison is like an absolute. Oh, that man is just a rock star.
Absolutely gorgeous.
You know, Nuno is just incredible. Rachel Marwood, she's just been. She's actually got an online. You must try and watch it because it's so good. She's re-released her online episodes that she's written. I think it's called Fig and Dates. They're so funny. But like we had a stellar group of people. And we read this script and I was like, this is... And they're like, don't worry, we've got a lot of freedom, we're going to adapt, we're going to change. We didn't change anything. It all stayed the same. They didn't want to change a thing, and we just had to make it work. And then we were given these props, and then the costume. I mean, don't get me wrong, costume designer Zara is just a genius. She's amazing, but that brief is, you know, it was literally just briefs like for everybody. It was different. I mean, I told my mum and dad not to come, and they came and surprised me with a group of friends from back home, and I'm there going...
And there's no escaping, because it was such a small venue, and you were like...
No, right there. Yeah, that was fun. No, you know what, I had a ball, and obviously, and that's how I met Benji as well.
So that led on to Toxic Avenger, which he directed. So they'd done that before at the Civic Playhouse, hadn't they? And I think Mark was the only cast that carried on.
Yes, he was in it in the Southwark. It was only a cast of 5, obviously.
Yeah.
He was in it in the Southwark, and I think, I don't know how it worked out, whether they asked everybody or whether it was a case of, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But they had the auditions whilst I was in Holy Crap. And I remember saying to Benji, I was like, oh, go on, see me for it. And he said, no, I don't think you're right. I was like, go on, dare you. And And then he gave me an audition, and I just thought, oh, God, now I'm actually going to have to, like, make an effort. So I do make effort for auditions, so obviously all auditions I do. Sorry, Ross, my agent, if you're watching. But so I did some serious homework. Like, you know, I read up and I did it and I thought about it and I planned out my whole like scene and everything. And I got the gig, so great. But we went obviously then again to Edinburgh. Yeah. So that was the second time I went to Edinburgh Fringe with that. Before it then came to the arts. And then we had Ben Irish take over. Yes. So that's when we did the film version as well, which is really nice actually with the current circumstances.
Yeah, so that's on Broadway HD, isn't it? Have you watched? I was going to say, have you watched it back?
I have watched it ages ago, but I've not watched it all the way through. It's very weird watching yourself on telly. Like, I find it weird that my face is, I can see, I'd rather I wasn't there at all. Do you know what I mean? But it's very weird watching yourself on I don't know how TV actors do it. I think it's quite a feat to have confidence in watching yourself on screen because it feels like a bit of an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, some people like it, some people don't. I love it. I can watch myself all day. Because I obviously edit my own videos. I'm like, it's just me.
Just looks cool. I mean, you're blonde as well.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he's stunner. Hey.
I caved into the... I felt like it had to be done because everybody was doing it. I was like...
Well, now's the time to do it, isn't it? I mean, we're all going to end up with some seriously interesting haircuts at the end of this. But... I mean, my great look at that. Oh, my hairdresser is going to be furious with me.
Although I saw Lucy Jones popped up the other day on something, and her hair looks stunning. I was like, how?
She's beautiful as a person and inside and out. It makes me quite cross when you meet people like that. But she's beautiful. People just live it, don't they? They just live. They have good skin naturally and wake up like that. You know, I hate them.
So Toxic Avenger. So it was. You would play a blind woman.
A blind librarian.
Yes.
A blind librarian. A very helpful blind librarian, actually.
I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, the whole, like you say, it was a cast of 5.
Particularly PC.
No. It was out there. But it was brilliant.
Yes, it was. It was so much fun. So much fun. I don't think I'd had that much fun on a show before.
But you did a lot of work, the 5 of you as well, didn't you? Especially the boys who were was there like 40 parts between them?
I mean, I had it easy. Like the Shay and Oscar just I think one of them had 15 characters and the other had something like 18.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like one happened and left and then that was it. No. They go back and in and out and back into that one and back there, and we'd have to figure out something else because that costume was left on the other side and you couldn't always go round. And I don't know how I was relieved I just had one part. I was like, I'm okay looking in the distance here because this is the most bizarre thing. And then Nat Hope, who was just amazing. She had to duet with herself, which was, hilarious in itself. So she had, in one duet, she had 4, because I helped her with her quick changes as well. It was mad. So her mic was still live while she was doing the 2 voices, whilst we were trying to change her wig, glasses, outfit, shoes, everything. Chaos. I mean, it's amazing that it didn't go disastrously wrong on any night, really. But yeah, it was a hard work show. But it was so much fun. I loved it. We had so much freedom. We had such a laugh with the audience. It was brilliant. I loved it.
And do you speak to Oscar still? Because he's got a new show coming up next week. Have you heard about it?
I haven't, but I mean, I saw him at the What's on Stage
Yes.
Awards. I haven't spoken to him probably since then, but he's making all these hilarious...
He's brilliant, isn't he?
The man's a comedy genius, isn't he? You can't make that sort of stuff. But
Danielle Tarento is producing. It's called Sunday in the Club with Oscar, part of the H Club, their new online content.
It's the first time hearing of it. That's
tune in. You should get involved. They've got a brilliant lineup for the first one.
I'll watch with a glass of wine. But No, he's just such a funny guy, and that is what he's like in person.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people sometimes think, oh, it's a little bit of it. You're like, no, we spent 4 weeks living in the same flat in Edinburgh, and you're like, no, that is Oscar. Like, he is bold, and like, it's all real. Like, the guy's a legend, and I'm so pleased for him. And so that's exciting. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's an online thing. Is there a theatre open I don't know about?
No, it'll all be online, but I think I think it's twice a week, actually, starting on Sunday. And I've got Julie Atherton and Velma Celli and Rob Fowler.
Oh my God, amazing.
This should be
That's
fun.
so cool. That's very fun.
Get involved with that.
No, very exciting.
But yeah, so that brings us bang up to date with Come From Away. Let's talk about that. So, I mean, this show was written back in 2012, I think it was, originally.
It was.
And then, so did you know about it? Because I'd heard about it before.
I'd heard about it not long before because, weirdly, so I think David and Irene had started interviewing people at one of the anniversaries at Gander. I think it was the 10th anniversary. So either 2011 or 12 maybe they went.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But weirdly, when I worked on the cruise ship, one of the lads that I worked with, he went to Sheridan College where they workshopped it.
Right.
So I remember him telling me all about this show, and he was like, you know, hey dude, it's so great, and this shit's so cool and fantastic, and blah, blah. And then it opened up in Broadway, obviously, and it just, you know, exploded. And that's when I then, realised what it was. So when the breakdown came out, I mean, I honestly, first of all, I thought I wasn't right for it. I didn't think, a little 5-foot-something Stoke girl would be right for, when you look at the casting they had, because it's such an eclectic group of people to look at. I wasn't sure what they were after, and I didn't think I'd fit the bill. So I didn't think I'd be in with a shot at all, and then cut to, like, being at the finals going, what's happening, and in a room with, like, stellar people,
So for people who don't know the show, it's based on the real real characters, all of you.
Real life people, real story, it all happened. It's basically the aftermath of when 9/11 happened in New York. There were hundreds of planes still in the air that all had to be diverted or grounded, and 38 of those planes landed in a place called Gander in Newfoundland, just off Canada, which normally has like half a dozen flights a day going in and out. So they had approximately, I think it was just over 7,000 people land, who then were grounded there for 5 days. And it was only a town of almost that number anyway. So it was all about the story of how they opened their homes and their doors and let them all in and ate with them and drank with them and danced with them. And it's an amazing story. It's
an incredible story of hope, isn't it? I think that's what resonates through it, and kind of
massively
the generosity of people and
and in such a new, I suppose, in a bit of a way like we are at the moment. In a more sort of a more aggressive scenario. It was this kind of entering so much unknown, and these people not knowing how or when they would get home.
Yeah.
And having complete strangers, instead of go, we'll just ignore them there, go, come in, have some dinner with us, don't worry, we're all going to go and have a drink together at the Legion, let me take care of you, give you shelter, give you warmth, give you food, and give you comfort. And now more than ever, I think, actually, it's a really beautiful story to remember. And it's really beautiful. And then the fact that it's all these, true events with real people that we get to speak to. And
so you played a reporter called Janice Mosher.
Janice Mosher. Weirdly, there's a couple of parts that, because obviously a bit like with Toxic, all of us play multiple roles, but my main one, I guess you would say, is Janice. But she's an amalgamation of two people's story. So Janice Goudie is she was starting, it was her first day as well. She was starting for the local newspaper, and then Brian Mosher, the other half of Janice, was the local TV host. So it was amazing listening to their story, because they came over for the press night and everything. And
I was going to say, at any like, I remember you meeting them on press night, but had you met them before that, or seen any footage of them, or?
We'd seen footage. Like, part of the rehearsal process there was a bit of research involved, and we got to watch a couple of documentaries.
Wow.
Brian is an absolute legend, so he just got in touch, and we started chatting a little bit. Janice is much cooler. She just thinks it's odd that there's a show about her life in there, really. But she's just an absolute sweetheart, and so we did get to have a little bit of conversation with them, but they didn't actually make it over to London, because obviously we opened in Dublin first.
Yes.
But
why was that? Was that just?
Well, I don't actually know. Rumour has it. I think they were thinking of taking it on tour first to see how it went.
Yeah.
And then someone told them, don't be stupid, go straight to the West End, this will be brilliant.
Yeah.
But at this point, they'd already got Dublin booked. And I'm so glad they did, actually, because it was such a beautiful theatre to work in.
How long were you there for?
7 or 8 weeks. We did over Christmas and New Year. We did December and January, so I think just shy of 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, had a week off and then opened in the Phoenix, like, 2 weeks later, which was, amazing. But yeah, Dublin was lovely, and we had a couple of them fly over for that, and then London, when we had the press night, we had like a week long with them where we did various sort of like media things, and then we had an honorary screeching in with them that Brian and Oz, the real Oz Fudge, hosted. That was so brilliant. And then obviously you had the press night before they all flew back, and it's just beautiful. It's amazing. They're such crazy people, wonderful people, bizarre stories. It's so lovely to hearing it from the horse's mouth is always the best way, isn't it? So hearing it from them is always pretty special.
And how was it for you? Because that's obviously your West End debut. Well, apart from the arts theatre.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was my soft West End debut. Yes. It was like a whole other scale. Do you know what I mean?
How did you feel when you found out you got the part?
Honestly, I think I could have cried like a baby, because they kept us on hold for about 10 weeks, which was horrendous. I mean, it's the longest time I can ever remember in my life. It felt like forever. And bless, my agent will call up pretty much every Friday afternoon going, it's still a strong hold, and they definitely want us to let them know if you get anything else. I'm like, okay, fine. And by week 4, you kind of go, just stop telling me. Tell me when it's a yes or no. And I was working in a pub at the time, and so I was hiding behind the glass washer, and I was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, so that was, yes, massive relief, so much joy, excitement. Couldn't honestly believe it, because in all honesty, the people that were in that room on my final audition, it was an honour to be in the room with them for a final, never mind get the job. Like, it was such a privilege and so exciting. And got a job. And I could phone my mum and say, it's all right, I've got a job. Terrible, isn't it?
And I've got to ask about the accent. Like, how did you, like...
Oh, God, don't. I think I've forgotten it. Honestly, it's terrible. If I don't do it 6 days a week, it goes. The accent is hard. I'm guessing...
So it's a hybrid of, like... What do they call it? Is it Newfie accent?
Well, it's Newfoundland accent, but it's a combination, because it's all to do with years and years and years ago. I don't know why I went Bristolian then, because that is not in it. But it's all to do with the Irish immigration over to America and Canada. But obviously, this island that those particular immigrants landed upon in Newfoundland and places like Gander and whatnot, because it's quite an isolated place, they actually maintained and kept a lot of Irish traits mixed with Canadian, mixed with a bit of American and a bit of here and there. So yeah, it is very, very, very odd. and very funny to listen to.
And at this show, you're all on the stage the whole time, is that right?
Well,
pretty much.
I get the longest break, and it's about 4 minutes.
Woo!
So I, Philip, am one of the privileged few that can have a
Sit
wee
down.
show.
Oh,
Yeah. I can make the toilet and go back in time. And still wash my hands. I'm just 30 seconds, happy birthday to you. But there are some people that can't. I mean, Mary, who plays Bonnie, hates me for it because she does not have time to put her bottom on a toilet seat.
Yeah.
It's so quick. It is fast paced. But I think with the way that they created it, because obviously they created it with the original cast over in Broadway, and a lot of that has sort of been picked up, as it is with many transfers, with some minor readjustments. But the show has to just keep pushing through and through and through, because like the producers put it brilliantly when we spoke about it, because they used to have an interval once upon a time when it first existed, I think. And they decided to, as they were cutting some things out, they were like, well, we need to think about how long it is and X, Y, and Z. And they then had the conversation, well, hang on, these people did this for 5 days without a break, so why can't we watch it for an hour and a half without a break?
Yeah.
And it just makes it ever more apparent how this sort of whirlwind was for them at the time, I guess. And
it is a trigger. You felt watching it like you're taken on a whole roller coaster. You're just strapped in.
Roller coaster.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's this idea. I can't remember who it was that told me, but they were like, it's done in such a Newfoundlander attitude, because they want to take care of you and make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
And and if you get upset, it's okay, because they'll slap you in the face with a joke straight after. And I feel like that's kind of what this show does. It's real life, people don't cry for 4 weeks, and you laugh at some things, and you talk seriously about some things, and you make small talk with strangers, and you live your life. And I feel like it's probably one of the closest things to real life in a surreal world that was at that time, probably, for them. So yeah, it's special. It is special.
And I think for us at the moment where we are, I think this is one show that's really going to resonate when we do all come out of this. Massively.
It's that kind of, that attitude. Well, the line that we all say is, the candles in the window and the kettle's always on, is like so true. Even though the doors can't necessarily open, it's still there, And that idea of being able to do your bit to help a community, however great or small, even if you don't think it's important, it is to somebody,
Yeah.
So I think it's an important message that we have to try and remember, because especially now, I don't know how you feel about going out and about, like obviously going out when I'm allowed to with my mum, and watching people who are, you see a different kind of groups of people, where you see people being very calm and patient with the scenario, know that this will take time, but it's okay. And then you see people that are obviously worried and scared and panic and
repel.
Exactly. So you think you just have to remember to meet it with kindness, and hope that when they get home they'll go, oh, actually, maybe I could have done that differently, and then it will change the next person they talk to. And I think it's about showing that kindness whilst we all feel a little bit isolated.
Yeah.
Which I think is so important, and it'll just make it so much more beautiful when we do get back together to some sort of normality again. I cannot wait to get back with those people on that stage telling that story, because it's honestly, I remember saying to John, one of the producers, saying that this is the dream job that I never knew that I needed.
Oh, really?
It sort of has a bit of a change of perspective on life. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a sarky little madam, but it does change things for you a little bit, and it makes me so grateful for some things that I have that I completely took for granted before, and especially in these circumstances. You know, I have a happy, healthy family who are getting by altogether very fine and very well. We have the odd argument over dinner, but other than that, we are in such a privileged position.
Yeah.
And my parents have worked so hard for us to have the life that we have, you know. I come from very much a working class background in Stoke, and we love our pottery, but it's special, and I appreciate what I've got, and I'm happy to have it, and I'm happy to help.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And I've decided now that I'm feeling a bit more optimistic. I've started, I don't know if you saw it, I put it online the other day. I'm going to start these classes.
I was going to ask, have you started any yet? Have you done any?
I've got my first one next week. I'm very excited.
Are you offering a whole range of...
Yeah, to a degree. It's a kind of... It's basically tailoring it to what people need. Because, you know, you've got people out there who have either just graduated or are about to graduate, or people who want to think about getting ready to go back into the industry when it does all get back to its feet.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, for years I've had this teaching qualification whilst I was at Royal Academy and all that, and I've always thought, oh, no one wants to know what I've got to say. Like, that's not important. And you sort of sit back and go, oh, actually, no, maybe I do know some of the things that are useful to know, and maybe I should, maybe I could help other people whilst helping myself rather selfishly, because, you know, I like to talk about singing as well. And a range of things, sort of focusing on performance-based stuff, because you are sort of limited with this little screen of what you can help with regards to like technique and stuff. But, you know, if you can offer your services with regards to performing and singing and performing while singing, if I can help, I will. So we'll see how they take off. And
how do people get in touch with you to do it?
Well, they can do it on my Twitter or Instagram, and the email is singingwithsalvo. That's me. Don't say that's me. The email is singingwithsalvo@gmail.com. I realise that you can't interject whilst you're saying an email, can you?
It's all right, I'll flash it up on the screen. It'll come
Honestly, I don't know how I live. I don't know how I get by. It's quite incredible I've made it this far. But yeah, so that's the one there. And if it's just a short session, if people want to do a group thing, if we can figure out what people want, if it's not something I've necessarily written down.
Yeah.
If I can help, I mean, I can't juggle, but I can help you try. So it's just something to help whilst we're all on this sort of slight hiatus.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
You know? Trying. And I think it's great that you're still doing it. It must be so weird doing this kind of stuff whilst there's not the usual stuff on.
Yeah, it's a completely different. I mean, there's so much online content at the moment, and people. Like I'm kind of just like, I'm bored of quizzes by now. I'm like over the quizzes, but I'm kind of just enjoy like things that I don't normally do, like cooking and going out for a bike ride. I never do that in London because you'll get knocked off. But like here, because I've got. Yeah, so like here, I'm just loving it, and like I baked brownies for the first time. And stuff like that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I miss the interviews, and it's great that I can still do this.
Stuff like this. Isn't technology a wonderful thing?
Like I might just do this, like going forward, like not even bother.
Like you can just do it in your pajamas.
Exactly.
No need to get dressed up.
Like I'm not even going to come to press out, so I'm just going to send somebody.
Just bring back the beer. Bring back the free wine. Bring back a programme so no one was in it. And it's fine. No. I can't wait. First day when we all go back.
It's going to be incredible.
I mean, there's going to be tears,
Yeah.
there's going to be laughter, there may be some lines forgotten, but we don't care.
But that's what I was thinking as well, because obviously you're going to have to schedule in a rehearsal period to get you all back up to speed.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was thinking, I was like, I can't fit into my jeans. Like, bless those costume people are going to have to take out everybody's.
They are going to need to do a shopping trip because there is no way I can fit in those jeans right now. I'm going to have to do an insanity workout. I've been doing an insanity workout, and then I got on the scales, and I was like, I've still put weight on. It's not helpful. So I'm just going to have to, like, eat leaves whilst I'm in rehearsals or something. It's terrible, isn't it? It's so bad. But like you say, it's that filling your time with so much is quite a difficult thing to do, because then, you know, when you bake a brownie, what do? Eat it.
Exactly.
You know, you're not just going to put it on the side, are you?
Take a picture for Insta and then...
Do you know what I mean? Why would you do that? No, eat it, and then make some more for tomorrow. Right? But yeah, it's hilarious. I don't know if you're the same being at home with the family, but in my parents' house, oh my God, there is so much stuff in that kitchen, and I am just getting
It's like 3 meals a day, plus like all the... And because we had Easter, I got like overboard of like Easter eggs. But yeah, it's a biscuit tin. That biscuit tin is never empty.
Constant. And then it just magically fills up, so I just keep going. I keep thinking, well, it'll stop one day. She'll stop buying it for me. And then it just keeps coming. And my brother got good genes. So he just doesn't put on an ounce. Like, I can look at a cake and put on 3 pounds. And he just eats like an absolute... He is a bin. It just goes in and I don't know where it goes. But yeah, so it's... Yeah, why not? We're making a sausage casserole tonight.
Woo! I've got chicken stir fry.
I don't know whilst I was on the call to you, because I can smell smoke. So there's going to be some well done sausages.
Nice. Well, on that note, I'll let you go and check them out.
Oh, bless you.
It's been a pleasure.
So
No, it's quite alright. Good luck
Stay
with.
safe and well.
Thank you. You too.
Obviously, try my best.
See you later. Bye.
Can you put it down? How to put it down? Oh, I did it. It's okay.